After the overturn of Roe v. Wade, many American women turned to the internet to obtain abortions via dangerous pills known as mifepristone and misoprostol. But what many women still don't know is that these pills are manufactured overseas. Some of the biggest manufacturers are located in India. One nonprofit, DKT International, has become one of the world's largest distributors of abortion pills, but Bloomberg reported earlier this year that 1/5 of DKT's products are produced by an Indian company that has a record of making medicines that fail important quality tests. DKT spokespeople claim their company is not associated with any products being illegally imported into the United States or elsewhere, and say they have not received complaints from distributors or customers over quality. We recently spoke to Rebecca Shah, co-director of the University of Dallas's program for Indo-American Friendship and Understanding, who told us about the widespread abortion pill market in India and how the country's abortion laws have allowed the abortion pill industry to grow under the cover of darkness. Becky, thank you so much for sitting down with us today to talk about the abortion landscape in India. Paint a picture for us of what abortion is like in India. We know that it was legalized in India in 1971, just a couple of years before Roe versus Wade here in the United States was legalized.
So one of the most interesting things about India is that India is the most populous nation in the world. We have overtaken China. We have 1.4 billion people. And when many people think about India, they just think of lots and lots and lots of people. They don't really think about the serious issue, which is population decline in India at the moment. For the first time in India, the total fertility rate has dipped below replacement level of 2.1. We are now at 2. So India's population is slowly declining. We are a young population, so there's population momentum. Now, how does this have an impact on abortion? Well, as you said, since 1971, we have had the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, ostensibly enacted to provide safe abortions. But what is safe abortions? Abortion, in my non-medical view, is a murder and quite unsafe. But this was an act that began in 1971 and was amended in 2021. There are various criteria for abortion in India, and most of those criteria are quite broad. One is, of course, to save a woman's life. We've heard this. The other is for the mental and physical well-being of a woman, economic and social necessity. And finally, abortion is allowed if contraception between a husband and wife has failed, so quite broad. There were in 2015 about 17 million abortions. A majority of those, 73% of those abortions were conducted outside of healthcare facilities. This, of course, led to the amendment of this Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act in 1971. It was amended in 2021 to include the provision of abortions for non-married women or unmarried single women. It also extended the time, for example, abortions were allowed up to 24 months. So this is a very liberal abortion policy, which many people don't hear of because all we hear about is that India is just overpopulated.
Right.
And we don't hear about the dangerous thing that is this very permissive and dangerous abortion policy.
Mm-hmm. And sex selection abortion is also something that's prevalent in India.
Yes, funny you should say that, because at around the time the MTP Act was enacted in 1971, we have the introduction of ultrasound machines in 1971 as well. Of course, they set the ultrasound machines up to detect fetal abnormalities, right, but the effect of which was to result in significant sex-selective abortions, where there was tremendous female feticide. We have millions and millions of missing girls. In 1980, that is 10 years after ultrasound machines were introduced in India, we have a sex ratio of 111 boys to 100 girls. So that is 111 boys. This is just an average number. There are districts in India with about 69 girls to 100 boys. So we have a bare branches issue, very similar to the one you might have heard of in China. Having said that, sex-selective abortion has improved in India. I want to raise this as a positive. It's come down from 111 boys to 100 girls to 108. A small decrease, but overall, in terms of absolute numbers, that's a good change.
Yes.
It's a change in the right direction.
Absolutely, yes. Becky, talk to me about the religious landscape in India. You know, Christians are often the ones who are most likely to promote pro-life values, but they're in the minority in India. Do Islamic peoples, people who practice Hinduism in India, do they value life?
Absolutely. So we just talked about sex-selective abortion. And the one wonderful thing, which I'm proud of to say as an Indian Christian, is that Indian Christians have consistently had a sex ratio of 104 of 103 boys to girls, which is close to the norm.
Yes.
So while other religious traditions in India have had very disastrous sex ratios, we as Christians have maintained good sex ratios in India. Now, in terms of the value of life, so in Hinduism and in Islam, but let me talk first about Hinduism, there is a strong belief in the value of life. Dharma, which is the law of nature, which we could say is similar to what we Catholics would call natural law, believes in the value of life. And it is a sin to kill life within you. In fact, I want to tell you about a Hindu tradition where a woman who's 7 months pregnant gets to wear red and green bangles. And it's a special tradition because the bangles are supposed to, when the mother walks, the child within her is to hear the music of those bangles, glass bangles.
That's beautiful.
So there's a commitment to life in these religious traditions, and there's strong prescriptions against abortion also in Islam. And we see that in the sex ratio of Muslims in India, who also show positive sex ratios, i.e. 105 boys to 100 girls. So that's pretty standard and not as disastrous as some other religious traditions in India.
I see. Thank you for explaining that. Becky, let's talk about abortion pills. India is one of the #1 manufacturing countries of the abortion pills, mifepristone and misoprostol. They send these pills all over the world. What is your estimate of the global impact of these pills going everywhere?
Well, thank you for asking this question. This is a very serious issue. The abortion pill industry in India is growing. For example, there is a pharmacy in India that has just in April conducted its first initial public offering, IPO. It's called the Mankind Pharmacy, Mankind Pharma. It was the largest and most successful IPO in India, subscribed over 30% than it expected. And one of the main reasons is the success of its abortion pill kit, which is sadly called Unwanted, the Unwanted Kit. And you can buy that for 400 rupees. In April this year, there was a New York Times article called Inside the Online Market for Overseas Abortion Pills, written by a journalist called Alison McCann. And she uncovered the industry, of abortion pill industry, which comes from India. You can order abortion pills from America on a website that is based in Kazakhstan. And these brown paper packets come to an office in wherever, in a southeastern state in the United States. And you can buy that. And when, at the time the article was written, the person whose name was withheld had sold 300 kits in 1 month. Wow. And these are mainly coming from India. So there's a tremendous market. They are cheap, they're inexpensive, and they are very widely distributed here, but they're very, very widely distributed in India, and there's the danger.
Yes. And what other countries besides the U.S. do you predict that these pills might be sent to as well?
I would imagine they would go to Europe. They would go to Europe and parts of Africa. Africa right now is remarkable in that it has very healthy fertility rates, yes. And that's wonderful. But I would imagine that these pills would go to Africa. A lot of pharmaceutical drugs, because they are very cheaply produced in India, do go to Africa. So I imagine that is a ready market for these pills once it takes off.
Right, so pretty widespread. Becky, what can you tell me about DKT International?
Well, DKT International, from what I've heard, is a large organization based here in America, in Washington, D.C., I believe it is. And they are funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, along with other funders. And a few months ago, there was an expose article about them, written in Bloomberg News, that a significant portion of the abortion pills that were sourced from a pharmaceutical company in India called Sinochem were of dubious quality. So if you can imagine, Prudence, that you find very poor abortion pills in America, how many poor quality abortion pills are being distributed in India? In fact, we find news reports in India saying that abortion pills are being handed out like candy to prostitutes, to college girls, and 20% of a study, 20% of people who took this abortion pills, this is a study that was conducted in 2022, a fifth of the women who took these abortion pills had serious hemorrhaging and had to be taken to the hospital. Majority of them take the pills without medical supervision. Right. So they are being used in lieu of contraception. So this is the danger of these pills, which are, I might add, some of them are of dubious quality.
Right. And as you alluded to before, there's no such thing as an unsafe abortion.
There is not.
This is proof of that.
There is no such. It's an oxymoron.
Yes. On a lighter note, India just had its second annual March for Life.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
It was conducted in Pune on the anniversary of the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, which is August the 10th. And I believe it was the second March for Life in Pune, in Maharashtra. Cardinal Oswald Gracias was part of the march. It was encouraging because I believe from people I knew who had been there were a lot of young people there. So there is a growing movement. It's a small movement. I invite Americans to join us on the 10th of August in India. So those of you who've been active, as I have for the past so many years, 25 years for the March for Life here in America, to participate there and to get this movement. We need it.
Absolutely.
Going.
Yes.
And growing.
Yes, and it is slowly growing, as you mentioned.
Indeed.
Talk to me about some of the challenges the pro-life movement is facing in India, kind of in terms of getting off the ground.
Well, the pro-life, as I said, India is colored with an image that we are overpopulated. We have too many people. People believe, the world believes, the many non-governmental organizations, many development agencies, many multilateral agencies believe we are too overpopulated. They also believe that women are too poor and they need abortion to help them maintain family size. Instead of actually actively providing policies to help women earn more money. India's labor force participation rate is only 30%. What if 70% more women get involved in the labor force? What if you can increase wages of women? They would be able to have these children. They wouldn't need to resort to abortion. So there is a view that there's poverty, and which is a serious problem, and other issues which makes abortion necessary. So we need to overcome that. We need to get young people in India actively on board. I've loved Marches for Life in America, partly because I love to see the college students walk.
Yes.
And so we need that. We've got a large number of Catholic institutions in India, a large number of Catholic education institutions. I live in a city with at least 3 huge Catholic colleges. Getting them on board, getting them to understand the importance of this would be wonderful. Would be exciting.
Absolutely. Well, I've learned so much from you. Thank you so much for laying all of this out, Becky. Before I let you go, you serve as a senior advisor to the president of the University of Dallas, and I understand there are some initiatives, exciting initiatives that you all are working on.
Yes.
Share that with me.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm at the University of Dallas, and I do serve as an advisor, senior advisor to the president, J.J. Sanford. And we do many things at Dallas, as you know, a very pro-life university, and commitment to human dignity is very, very important. And one of the ways in which we've parlayed our commitment to human dignity and to life and is a new program, which is the program for Indo-American understanding and friendship. It's particularly this: you're American, I'm Indian. It's to foster mutual understanding between the countries, but to also get rid of issues of conflict, and to help to understand what can we as Indians learn from Americans, and what can you learn from us, our commitment to family, our commitment to life, our commitment to older people, our commitment to our faith in the face of tremendous challenges, but also other works of, I do work on economics and business and politics and the ever-present danger of China. So these are other political issues. But this is a program that we've started at UD.
A beautiful initiative at a great university.
Thank
you
you
for sharing it with us. Yes. And thank you so much for joining us, Becky. It's been an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Prudence.